Oh yeah, this is good. This is so fine. Divas in Distress by Will Kimsey. Speak of the angel there. Hi, before I do that, I'm LV Smith, host of the show Sounds Within. It's been a long while. So, as you know, our show deals with all the realms of sound, be it in spoken word, music, politics, I don't care. I'm obsessed by sound. But let's get down to my guest, Mr. Will Kimsey, whom we had before. And he is a true Renaissance man. We're speaking of an artist, a tech, a choir director. I mean, this man has talents up the yin yang. So let's welcome our guest, Mr. Will Kimsey. Welcome back. Welcome. It's so good to have
LV,
you back in the
what's
house.
going on, man? Hey,
You know
thank you
what's
for
going on.
having me back. Thank you for having
Gotta
me
have you.
back. Welcome to the post-apocalyptic nightmare of 2021, which is the pandemic. How y'all doing?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was last year, 2020. This is at least something's happening now. There's some positive things happening now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
It's
hey,
always
yeah,
something
I
positive.
guess
You
we
have to
hold
stay
on, but
positive.
speaking of which, you got to tell us about that song, Diva in Distress. What brought
Oh,
that?
wow. Diva. Well, I actually wrote Diva right after I got out of college in 1987. I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I didn't finish it. And I finally finished it around 89 or 90. Um, and it was a song about somebody that I knew that was a young lady who was always having problems, always. And I'm not a lyricist, I'm an instrumentalist. So when I write my music, I like to start, just give you a brief history, I guess. I like to, and I talked about this on the last time I was on your show. I like to write songs from, for me, the bottom up. I get my drum beat, then I get the bass going, throw in the chords for the keyboard. The sounds will probably change, but if I got those three basics, I got something to work with, and I threw a melody on top. And I came up with a catchy title, and I try to keep the title in frame with what's going on in my head and the music and everything else. And Diva in Distress was born. And that's pretty much how that went. And it's also the intro and outro background music for the podcast Music Outlook LA, which can also be heard on Apple Podcasts, Google Play. I'm on iHeartRadio, and just about anywhere you can get your podcast. Also, look for me on YouTube. I'll give you all that
Oh yeah,
information.
you cover all the social medias. But anyway, I hear you have this show called Music Outlook L.A. Tell us about that.
Well, Music Outlook LA is my podcast, which is hosted on Spreaker. That's spelled SPREAKER.com. And it talks about gigs, gear, and info. I'll give you all that contact information throughout the show, but I interview independent artists, no matter what level they're on. They could be just starting out, intermediate, advanced. They could be a high roller, big baller. It doesn't matter. I've teased and said, I will talk to a Best Buy, Key Grip, whatever. If you're in the industry, I talk to you. I talk to entertainment lawyers, you name it. So far, we've got 10 shows under our belt for season one. I'm in the midst of recording season two. And we just talk about the gigs of the independent artists, the gear they use, why they like to use it. And we pass on important info that we think all of you can take something out of. So that's pretty much where the show is, man. That's pretty much it.
Gee, you have to kick me off my own show, man, with all you're doing. I love this stuff. That's why I gotta keep you coming.
Hey, I'm just glad to be here, man. I mean, during these crazy, stressful times, you got to do something to keep keep the mental juices flowing, man.
I understand. Love it. I got to take lessons from this guy.
Well, I found out from a friend of mine that you have to stay socially engaged. So this is similar to what I do on my podcast. We just chop it up and talk about all sorts of important pieces of information. And one of the things that is truly important, especially in this day and age, as the technology continues to advance, and it's easier for a solo artist or a musician, photographer, videographer, whatever walk of life you do in this industry, to be able to do it by yourself and do all the facets of it. You got to keep up on the social media. You just have to. So you got to keep people constantly engaged, come out with new content, stay creative, keep the juices flowing, especially in this time. It's real easy to get discouraged, to feel down in the dumps or whatever. But one of the things I do to keep from feeling that way is basically to just try to keep content going and, take it from there.
You are a true man of content. That is for sure.
Oh, thank
Now,
you. I try.
We're going to, yeah, you're doing it. Well, we're going to take a little breather here so we can catch up to hear what you have to say about Music Outlook L.A. when we can return back. So stay tuned, folks. We will be back.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. The pressure's too much. I quit.
I get it. I can do better. Just please
Don't leave.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
I'm telling you, folks, Diva in Distress by Will Kimsey. You think that's a whole band backing him up? No, he's after Stevie Wonder's magic there. A one-man do-it-all. Talent, tech, this man, wisdom, this is a man for you. Well, we're going to get back to Will about his podcast called Music Outlook L.A. What brought this about? What was going on to make you get this going? We hear what it's about, but give us the birth of it all.
Well, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and especially driving in LA traffic, you're jumping on 405, 605, 91, whichever freeway you are, if you are blessed to live in Southern California and LA area. And aside from the jazz, and I listen to all types of music, I do, like I said, listen to podcasts. And there was one particular show that gave me an idea. The host of the show, his forum was basically talking to people about their gear and why they like it, how to use it, tips, techniques, and that kind of thing. And that's where the idea kind of came up for Music Outlook LA. Why don't I talk to the indie artists? Because I'm all about independence. That's what we do at Kimsey Entertainment. And folks, that's KIM-Z entertainment.com. So make sure you check it out. Don't forget the dash. There's two of us out there. One with, one without. You want the one with the dash. That's me. Anyway, so listening to that show, it gave me the idea, why don't I do the same thing or something similar for indie artists? And I said, well, let me just take it from not just the musician, but open it up to everybody and anybody that has anything to do in this industry, whether they're at the top of the food chain, just trying to come in, anywhere in the middle. And that's where it came from. And as far as the name goes, you got to have a catchy name for anything you do. So I went through a bunch of names, and I'm thinking to myself, well, eventually running through it, and I grab a thesaurus and I start going through the list of various names, and I knew music wanted to be out there. And all the hip ones that I really wanted that came to mind at first were taken. And I said, well, I am looking out for the people. And it turns out that after thinking about it for a while, somehow in my mind, I was thinking about the old clipper ships of the previous centuries that the old sailors used to have. And up in the crow's nest was the guy who would shout out to the crew and the navigators and anybody else that was listening, land is coming, there are rocks, or there's some kind of danger. Turns out that the crow's nest is also called an outlook. So here I said, okay, music, outlook. I'm in LA. Music Outlook LA. There you have it.
Nice, 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 nice. That is great. What were some of the challenges you began with or encountered with Music Outlook LA?
Well, finding a reasonable podcasting hosting site. We're a small budget, so there are various podcasting sites out there, various pricing plans. So after discussing with my business partner, my wife, we went with Spreaker. And they have great quality. And I pre-record all the shows. That way I can edit out any verbal mistakes, like what I just did, a lot of ums and ahs and everything else, which take up sometimes precious seconds. Now, the show is up to an hour each episode. And so what I do is I pre-record them, listen to them, get my audio quality just right, or at least right enough for these ears, and listen to it on different formats. I listen to it in the car, listen to it in the house speakers here in my little recording studio, till I get the sound quality just right. And the good thing about a speaking podcast, you don't really need to do too much. You maybe put in a compressor, maybe a limiter, listen for background noises, that kind of thing. Probably one challenge I did have after that would be if somebody who was calling me on a cell phone, if their signal died. Calling them back, picking it up, and trying to splice different pieces together and that kind of thing. Not too many challenges, though. Figured out for me the best way to get good audio quality. I learned how to record in the different formats, landline, cell phone. Did one doing Zoom where I just grabbed the audio. I had a couple of guests who liked to use the Zoom format because they wanted to see me. So I would just grab the audio from the Zoom and take it from there. And after that, another challenge, I guess, would be, just figuring out the best flow for the show from recording all the way to the final product and coming up with the questions, because you got to keep your guests entertained and interested.
Amen.
What do people want to know about?
So much to share. So much to share. Let's take a little breather.
Okay.
And we're going to get right back to that. But I'd really like to know some of your perks coming on. Perks that you find doing the podcast. That is Music Outlook LA. And we will be right back. So stay tuned, folks.
You are watching Behind the Curtain.
Hey, it's Amin L. And Thursday night is live with Jeff Hodge. Come on down and check him out.
Yep. Diva in Distress. I can't hear enough of it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love Diva in Distress by Will Kimsey, host of his show called Music Outlook LA. Okay, well, we were talking about the challenges of getting this podcast going.
Mhm.
What are some of the perks you've received doing it?
Um, I get some positive feedback. Still trying to get more listeners to the show, but everybody that has listened to it likes it. A lot of people say it sounds professional, and that's all I'm trying to go for. Something that you can listen to and have good quality, whether it be in a set of earphones or earbuds, in the car, whatever. I try not to have that sound quality degrade in any way so that you can listen to it anytime, anywhere, any place. Um, had a couple of people tell me that they're glad that I gave them the info that we provided on a particular episode. Because one of the things that I stress about doing your own stuff and being an independent artist is legally protecting your work.
That's a show in itself, and we're going to have to do that. Will you
Yeah,
come back? Will you come back?
I will. I've got
Okay.
I've got an episode that is in the can, and I am waiting not for him. What I'm waiting for when I do my shows, last time I would record it, copyright it, legally protect it, and put it out there. But that can get expensive. So what I do is I record 9 to 10 at one time, and I submit them all to the U.S. copyright. And as opposed to $65 a pop, you give them a batch, it's only $20 more. So once you figure out how much space your whole submission is going to take and you don't overload the government system when you're uploading your files, for me, 9 to 10 episodes is what it takes. And then I just put them out there one week, one episode, another one, and so on and so on. So I've been getting some pretty good feedback from my listeners. They like what we're doing. They like hearing about the gear, and just hearing us musicians be regular folks.
That's what a lot of us as a listening audience miss.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting musicians as everyday people who just happen to have a gift of making the glorious sound of music. So, like, yes, yes. I really am intrigued with how you are pursuing your audience and making it grow. And we're going to need some pointers on how to grow a production, be it like my show or others I know. What pointers do you have for us out there?
Well, be honest with you, I'm still learning how to do this myself. All I know is from what I've seen, a couple of webinars that I've participated in,
What are
and
the name of those webinars, if you don't mind?
um, I'll have to get back to you on the names of them, but I do remember one of my guests that's going to be in an upcoming episode is a entertainment lawyer, and he turned me on to a guy. I can't remember his show, but his name was James Wedmore, and he gave some very good tips about how to grow your audience. One of the things you do want to do is, like I said earlier, stay socially engaged. Keep the content up. Um, I have several media pages. I've got Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, which is Twitter, which is going to end March 31st, by the way. So if anybody's got stuff on Periscope and you don't want to lose it, even though Twitter may, I haven't really checked. Twitter might say that, oh, it'll just transfer over. Back up your recording so you don't lose any of that stuff. But, I have those three. I've got YouTube, and you just got to constantly put content up on those pages. Then you have to take the time to advertise those pages. Word of mouth. So far, that's all I'm doing right now. when I get some more tips and techniques, I'll be happy to pass them along. But for right now, I'm just doing the old school thing, just putting the content out there, trying to let everybody know through advertising and everything what we're doing. And the one thing you can remember, if you are using social media, and like if you're doing a podcast or a video cast and the hosting site is going to promote you, you're going to have a certain number of followers listening to the show before you can get a paid promotion or anything like that. I mean, my hope is that I get enough people to where somebody like Rode, as you can see, that's the microphone I use, will give me an endorsement and I can, take it from there. So just keep the content going. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged, and stay creative and keep
Thanks.
it out there. That's all you can do.
Got it. This demon called time is a pain. So quickly give out the contact info, how to get in touch with you.
Okay, well, if you go to the website again, it's a secure site, kim-zentertainment.com. And there is a button for contact. Just click on it, and it will take you directly to how to reach us. You can fill out the form, and we'll get an email for you. Otherwise, you can reach out to us at area code 562-584-0316. I'm also on YouTube. Again, look for Kim-Z Entertainment, and that'll take you to the page. We also are the same listing in Facebook. And if you want to hear some of the stuff I've done, go to Facebook and look up Will Kimsey, WK Music.
Great, great. Will, thank you for coming on this episode of Sounds Within. And we're going to try to have you back ASAP. Folks,
Hey, no problem. Thank you for having me. I also forgot another email, info@kim-zentertainment.com. That's another one for you. So
love it. Okay, thanks again, Will. Folks, do tune in for another episode of Sounds Within very soon. And you can also check on my contact information, how to see the extended version of this show. What are you going to take us out real quick, Will?
my other one, I did a video that's up on YouTube. It's called If You Don't Like the Beat.
Love it. Will's going to take us out with If You Don't Like the Beat. Peace, folks.
Peace.